Ice Cream Cat, how's it going? Raining in Canada? Well, I just assumed it's snowing in Canada at all times. Egg, lifting a second light over your drawing on the light table. Wait, what? Lifting a second light? Sorry, I'm not sure I'm following. Maybe it looks like something different because I've got my light box under here, and so I've just got my my drawing that I did back in like. This thing is ancient. I did this back in 2008. I'm just kind of like lightbox repenciling it and to kind of clean it up. These are some like ancient characters I'm never going to do anything with, but I kind of just wanted to do some drawing, and so I'm like, let me redraw it and try and snazzy up these characters a little bit, because this old drawing is very heavy-handed and sloppy with my inking. Demon Chorus is like if you think we should invade Canada. I don't know. What is Canada got? I was shocked to learn there's only like 40 million people in the entirety of Canada, when there's like almost 40 million people in California here in the States. I had no idea that Canada's population was so drastically tiny. It's kind of ridiculous. People would joke, they're not even really a country anyway, but I'm like, yeah, now I kind of think that. Oh, okay, egg. No, I get what you're saying. Okay, sorry. Yeah, all I do is actually I just, because I have my, you know, my light box paper, the old drawing, and then the new board over it, and I've got this piece of like, it's actually the cardboard backing to one of the pads of blank paper that I buy. You know, I've used up all the paper, so I peeled off the front of it, and so when I put my light box down, the paper doesn't cover the entire light box, and so I've got some of the actual bright light still shining me in the face. So I put this over it to hide all the light, and then when I want to check the drawing, I just kind of pull it up and do like you were saying. So yeah, I mean, the concept is the same, to like double check. You can't really see what you're missing when you're doing it this way, but Owen Esparza says, be a tattoo artist. Why would I do that? Why would I want to be a tattoo artist? I couldn't imagine anything artistically I'd want to do less than being a tattoo artist. Well, my drawings can still be sick, and still I'd not want to be a tattoo artist. I appreciate it. I appreciate the, you know, the vote of confidence, but I'd rather be a comic book artist, illustrator, than putting ink on people's bodies. Addie, you were trick-or-treating and you were a nun. Somehow that sounds fairly typical you. A nun. Egg, you wanted to be a pirate. Don't we all kind of want to be a pirate, like, if we're being honest? That's literally the only thing I think about dressing up as whenever Halloween comes around. But then I'm like, I'm a 49-year-old fucking man and I have to go to work, so I can't exactly. But every time I think about it, pirate is the default. See, there you go, Addie. Adorable shirt with ruffles, mini shorts, pearls, a hook, bloomers maybe. For those of you who know my friend Jessica, which we did a live stream yesterday actually, me and Jessica, but years ago when her and I worked together, she came dressed as a pirate girl. She wore like, it was like a red and black outfit, like black tights and like a sash around her waist, and this loose billowy shirt and like this red bandana with her long black hair hanging out. I was telling her, like, God damn, Jessica, you looked really freaking hot. She's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, no, you really, really, really looked hot. Jess did because she's a very pretty lady. That's what I tell her, but she's like, nah, I just know how to take good selfies. I'm like, that doesn't change anything. A cute version of Spock. Any version of Spock would be fun. you really want to do the Invisible Man, well, I don't know what the Invisible Man, 1930s Invisible Man, looks like. I haven't actually seen what that is. Is he always wrapped up in like bandages and stuff? Just to keep him, so people could see him? Well, Addie, if you're talking about next Halloween, you got plenty of time to debate yourself over which version you want to do, because, you know, you got time. Debate yourself. I don't think that's what he was saying, Addie. He was just playing along with you. He's not saying hush yourself. Yeah, Egg's a good guy. We like him. He's a good dude. You're walking a fine line. You know what, Addie? I can't remember if you were a comic book reader or not, but if you like the old classic kind of literary characters, you might like a comic book called The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Um, it's really good. Yep, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. There's a movie, and it's awful. It's absolutely horrible. But the comic, especially Volume 2, is for me is personally like my favorite. The concept is that all these old literary characters like Mina from Dracula, the Invisible Man, Jekyll and Hyde, Captain Nemo, Alan Quatermain. If you do, you know who Alan Quatermain is? Here's a test for you. We'll test your nerdiness. But all these characters kind of lived in the same era, and so Alan Moore writes this story where they all kind of get together and go on adventures as if they interacted together, and it's pretty dang interesting. At least it was to me. Yeah, Cro-Magnon. He knows what's up. Yeah, it was like the last movie Sean Connery ever made. It's like he passed on two roles. I think he passed on doing Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, and I think he passed on a role in the Matrix movies because he didn't understand them. He's like, I don't understand these movies. They don't make sense to my Scottish mind. So I'm going to do this League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. This will be a hit. And then it turns out to be one of the worst movies ever made. He was just like, I miss the good old days when women knew their place. I'm just kidding. Though Sean Connery probably did kind of think that way.
When you need to put down your work and get out of the house, unlock ideas with Google. Go to AI mode and just ask Google for workout classes to de-stress.
You know, there's no era of any time that's perfect. But I would probably go back to the 50s compared to the psychopathic world we're living in now. Cleaner, healthier food. people's brains weren't rotted and warped by social media. '57 Chevys. Hey, yeah, dude, you nailed that movie right away. Addie, a '57 Bel Air's your dream car. I knew I liked you, Addie. You have, you're an old soul, right? Have we said that? Has anybody ever told you that before? It seems to be the personality you got going on there. You were out with your brother trick-or-treating, and this girl in middle school passed you dressed as a very scandalous cat. So I'm so glad I scared her. Wow. That is a story I was not expecting. Back when I was in middle school, there were no scandalously dressed kids because we were all too damn young. Not that. At least that's how it was where I lived. See, I normally would like short skirts and thigh-high boots, but you're right, Addie. It's got to be on like an age-appropriate human being. Egg, these kind of orchestra movie soundtracks make movies so much more of an experience. I agree, 100%. There's so few movie soundtracks. There was a time when I was younger, I was watching the Star Trek movies, and I just suddenly, I started paying attention to the music, specifically in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And I was like, this is so interesting. And no one ever talks about this. And so I started collecting soundtracks on cassette tape of all things, because, you know, that's what we had back in the ancient times. And all this great music that was made. Is Del Toro's Frankenstein out? Is it already? Is it? I guess it's a Halloween movie, right? I didn't even know it was out yet. In fact, I didn't even know it existed until 2 days ago. Um, I'm one of those guys that's not like on the Del Toro bandwagon as much as some people. I'm like, how many amazing movies has he really made? He's certainly good, and on the right project, he's awesome. But I am not like enamored with Del Toro. Cro-Magnon. Yeah, anyone seen Frankenstein? You said it was great. Production designs, the art, and it killed. 100% worth seeing. I might have to do that. You know, Egg, I was doing my live stream yesterday with my friend Jessica, and we were talking, and I was telling her that I read that Spielberg is making a new movie that's supposed to come out next year, and he got John Williams to come out of retirement to score it for him. And just hearing the words Steven Spielberg movie, John Williams score, I'm like, I'm already in. Like, those two have made more movie magic than anybody else on the planet. And John Williams is, I think I read 93 years old. Like, he is not long for this planet. This might be the last original music that we get from John Williams. And if I saw correctly, the Spielberg movie, some kind of like alien UFO flick. I'm like, oh my God, please make another great, brilliant, awesome movie, Spielberg. Like, show all these goddamn idiot directors these days exactly what a movie maker who knows how to move us. Like, make it happen. Um, so, yeah. Don't even know exactly what the movie's going to be about, but just to get one more John Williams score, because Spielberg's not nearly as old, so he might be around for a minute, but has he done a movie without a John Williams score in ever? I don't know. Either way, I'm just kind of super excited for that. Cro-Magnon, come on. There's a bunch of good Del Toro flicks. I beg to differ, my dude. Everyone wants, but then again, that's just my personal opinion. You know, it's just what I like and dislike. I don't think Blade 2's that fucking great. Everyone's all over Blade 2's dick. I'm like, yeah, it's fine, I guess. Everyone's all over Hellboy. I'm like, it was just fine. Hellboy was just fine. I personally like Pacific Rim a lot. But when I rewatch it, the only thing I'm really there to rewatch are the robots punching monster parts. He did Pan's Labyrinth, right? I saw it once and I recognize it as really good, but it was really disturbing. It was nothing I ever really felt like going back to revisit. Thanks, Addie. Thanks for stopping in, as always. Be good. Take care of yourself. Ritana. Egg. Monster Squad is one of my all-time favorites. I watched it just like last week. It's like Goonies, but with like, it's like edgier, or they say like, they say some shit and I'm like, oh, this has got a little bit more balls. This is darker. Like with the vampire Dracula picks up the little girl, he's like, give me the amulet, you bitch. Yeah. Love Monster Squad. It's like that perfect like 80s blend of like awesome and silly and but awesome. I do have to say though, upon rewatching, some of those monsters were no threat at all. What was the mummy? What threat was that mummy? They just unwrapped him. He wasn't super strong. He wasn't immortal. He wasn't like some immortal god being like the Brendan Fraser movies. And the creature from the Black Lagoon, he just took one fucking shotgun blast to the chest from a child and he was dead. So like no threat there. Of course Dracula, you know, immortal, super strong, unkillable god thing. He's a comedy. There's a monster in my closet. All right, that's fair. That is very fair. And then the werewolf. You know what's funny, Egg? If you know Monster Squad really well, and I'm sure you probably know this, but do you remember at the beginning how they're trying to recruit Rudy into the team? They have to pass a monster test. And so they say, how do you kill a werewolf? And he's like, silver bullet, you know, well, what else? And he's like, nothing, just a silver bullet. And he's like, all right, then what's the other ways you can kill a werewolf? And so then the kids proceed to like make up shit that's not real. They say, blow him up with the stick of dynamite by kicking him out of a window, which is exactly what they did to him later in the show. Did you ever pick up on that? I didn't pick up on that for years until my brother pointed it out. Yeah. And I'm like, that's brilliant. That's fucking hilarious. For years, I watched that shit, and it never occurred to me that my brother's like, you realize that they say all that shit, and then they actually do it later. I'm like, no, they did. Oh, you're fucking right. Son of a bitch. That's hilarious. But yeah, that Wolfman, he was unkillable except silver bullet. And then the humorous fun of the movie kind of comes to a screeching halt for just a second when they shoot the werewolf and he's back to a human and he just looks up and with like eyes of gratitude says thank you, like for ending his misery. You're like, oh shit, that would have fucked Rudy up for his life, man. He was have to go get some therapy for like yes, he shot a monster, but it was like a man. was like, oh man, that for just a minute, it suddenly got kind of real. And that's what I like about it. Have I watched Silver? I don't think so. You mentioned Devil's Backbone and Chronos. Neither one of those sound familiar. Yeah, all those kids need therapy. And of course, they make Frankie. I like when they. I love how they get that little girl, and she kind of befriends Frankenstein, the monster, and she's like, "Come on, don't be chicken shit." I'm like, I can't believe, like, I love that they had that little girl say that line. You know, I'm like, it's so great. Don't be chicken shit. Cute little kid. And then now that she has an actual monster, she's like, now can I be in the club? Yeah, kid, you're in. Yeah, you know, and the parents getting divorced. Like there was a scene where the mother and the father were like really going at each other. Um, and we're like, oh, for like a kids movie, this is kind of like, I mean, it was realistic, but I'm like, ow, do we need to put in like realistic parental divorce and fights? You know, no wonder the kids are out like chasing down monsters. Like I'd rather fight fucking Dracula than sit around and listen to my mom and dad scream at each other. American Werewolf in London. I've seen it. It's been a long time. I always had this really fucked up thought. Remember at the end when they had the kid's sister, the virgin, to like read the German? They're like, "You're not a virgin, are you?" And she's like shaking her head, "No." And then they point to the little girl, like, "Is she a virgin?" And he's like, "Yes." I'm like, what if they have her read it and it didn't work? That's a fucked up thought. You know where I'm going with that. Like, uh-oh. I guess her family life is a lot darker than we thought. I shouldn't even said that. That's really fucked up. But it doesn't work. They're like, what? You know what? Even the monsters would be like, you know what? We're monsters, but we're not that bad. Let's go find her parents. I know, right? Hey, it's fucked up. It's so fucked up. I'm like, oh, it was all fun and games until you ruin it with shit like that. Oh my god. Oh, yeah, the '80s told real stories. Yeah. But yeah, it was like a. I mean, it's Goonies with monsters, but they had Scary German Guy. And then you know what's another '80s one that I love is Explorers. That tends to get kind of forgotten, and I've heard some people say that it's good up until the end. I'm like, fuck that. I love the whole thing because it's so damn weird. It's like Goonies, but like for kids going to space and meeting aliens. So Goonies is like pirate treasure hunting. Monster Squad is monsters, and then Explorers is space exploration. Like, I freaking love, yeah, River Phoenix. Um, I love that show. It's one of the it's like any of them. I could watch any of them anytime, and I will love it. It's just such an intrinsic part of my childhood that I never get sick of. And it introduced me to what? Little Richard? When he sings that song at the end. All around the world, rock and roll is here to stay. It's played by Robert Picardo, the doctor from Voyager. Oh yeah, the little mouse where I'm trying to remember the what's the name? River Phoenix, the science kid. What was his name in the movie? Wolfgang, right? Was that his name? But he worked in little buttons for the mouse to talk. He's like, "Go to hell, cheese." As a kid, funniest shit I've ever heard. And then the idea of that just little force field ball that they created, and just like, well, just develop a machine that you can fly around in and set the programming to go into space to these coordinates. Ow. Fucking ow. And you know what's crazy is, like, at the time it come out, it's probably was like a mild success, and people are like, oh, it's another cheap bullshit kid movie. But now a lot of us look back on it and go, you see the shit they make today? It sucks by comparison. So these like movies that were like mid at best are now like works of absolute genius because no one can make a goddamn good, like, imaginative, fun spirited adventure movie. Cro-Magnon, I think both of them are in it. Ethan Hawke, I think he's the main kid, and then River Phoenix was the sciency kid. They actually addressed the science of Newton's law in the sphere. Explain. I mean, I know there was like no inertia. Like they clearly had to like kind of excuse that. You know. They needed to neutralize objects in motion staying in motion. I mean, that makes sense. Because they did address, like, I think they said, like, the kid was like, there was no inertia, you know, no movement while he was in it. It's the only way that they could, I guess, sort of explain how they could move so fast and penetrate any physical object without it affecting them. Nothing like having a good penetration, you know what I'm saying, fellas? Yeah, so it'll go splat inside it. Yeah, that was a good show. I like it. Another one of them. Like exactly is the same as those others. I could check it out anytime and just be like, oh, childhood.
Future proof your home and garden with AARP today. Harvest the rewards for years to come. That's why.
I was actually, while I was at work today, I was kind of fantasizing in my head if, like, for some reason, a movie studio come to me and said, "Hey, we like your creative spark. We want you to helm a movie. Like, what '80s property would you like to get your hands on and do a continuation of?" I'm like, literally either Flight of the Navigator or The Last Starfighter. And I'd piss off some of the Last Starfighter crowd if I got my hands on it, because the last thing in the universe I'm going to do is make it a story about gamers. Because that fucking movie is not about gamers. But I've seen a lot of people like, yeah, the next time if they do a Last Starfighter sequel, they should have like an Xbox player. I'm like, you guys are out of your fucking mind. It's not about a video game. It's like just like the means with which they discover the ability of the hero that is Alex Rogan. He possesses the gift. Yeah, it would not be about fucking video games. We're falling into the moon's gravitational pull. What do? We die. Like, hell yeah. You know what blew my mind when somebody pointed it out to me, and I only figured this out like in the last, like, maybe decade, is that the same actor that played Grig in The Last Starfighter is the same actor that played the OCP head, the president of OCP in RoboCop. And then once I heard that, and then I just paid attention to the voices, I'm like, oh my god, it's the same guy. No idea. Because I would have just, I mean, maybe I'm stereotyping here, but I thought the guy that played Grig was a black dude. Now, why? I mean, the alien had dark skin, so I guess I just kind of assumed that his voice, maybe I'm just racist or something, but I just always assumed he was a black dude. But no, he's just an old white man. I'm like, oh, well, that's what you get for assuming, Rob. Kroll. That's another one I haven't seen. You know, the stuff that I got exposed to as a kid all hinges on what the hell my parents were gonna rent, because we were super poor. So, I it wasn't very often that we'd get to go to a movie. But my dad would rent the shit out of movies, and it just kind of hinged on what the hell ever they got. And of course, there would be those times when my dad would rent some like bullshit titty flick. And so I would like wait till he went to bed, and then I'd put it in and just fast forward to the parts where there's titties and like, you know, like R-rated movie fucking. And that was like my first exposure to like, oh, this is what people fucking looks like. Oh, that girl's hot. Yeah, I'm into chicks for sure. That's what you get for relating the last Starfighter to the similar creature. You know, I do remember kind of thinking as a kid that they kind of sort of looked the same. But even at the time, I was like, the makeup on the last Starfighter guy, Grig, is not a fraction as good as Lou Gossett Jr. in Enemy Mine. Like, they went all out for that makeup on the Drax. Like, they really made that work. One of my favorite lines in any movie anywhere is when they're an enemy mine, when they're trapped on the planet and they kind of put aside their differences. And so Davidge builds like the rock hut, and Jerry Shigan, he looks at it, he goes, shit. He's like, shit, what do you mean shit? Oh my God, my older brother and I would say that to each other for years. We just look at each other and go, shit. What do you mean shit? Oh God, so good. Samba Arkman. Jariba Shigan. So your name's Jerry Shigan. Jerry Shizmat eats shit. Your Mickey Mouse is one big stupid dope. He walks away, almost laughing. Yeah. Maybe you forgot what you said about Mickey Mouse. And then Jerry was even like, that was wrong. I did not mean it. And so Davidge is like, oh shit. He's actually being genuine. I didn't mean what I said about Shizma either. And he gives him the Talman. He's going to teach him. He's going to sing the line of Jariba. Learn his lineage. Liam Neeson's first flick, the giant guy in Harry Potter's first movie, Krull. Is that the movie where the guy had like the ninja star looking weapon? That's the only thing, if I'm thinking of the right thing, where it had that big bladed weapon thing that he'd hold up. Yeah, I never saw it, but and then who was it? Egg? Were you saying earlier you were watching Life Force? I've never seen it, but I did go to a website one time that pointed out that isn't that the show with like the super hot like brunette chick that was like naked for huge portions of it. I'm like, how did this pass my attention as a kid? Because if I'm thinking of the same movie, that was like, that girl was, holy Lord. Yeah, I never saw it. I've just seen like little clips. I was like, all right, I don't know who this girl is, but good Lord Almighty. No human woman should be allowed to be that insanely hot. Speaking of hot, y'all see Sydney Sweeney's dress? Good Lord. Yeah, egg. Oh my good, right? I was like, you know what? Sydney Sweeney knows what she's doing. She's had a movie or two bomb recently, and she's like, all right, well, I know how to get their attention. Look at these absolutely first-rate, world-class hot knockers. And I'm like, yeah, yeah.
If you misplace your card and the slide to the right, you press lock. Lucky Chase Mobile app is close lock, and it has encryption technology and encryption technology. That's peace of mind.
I'm an inspiration. Well, I'm just trying to keep up with all these others that I'm watching doing good stuff and not embarrass myself. And hopefully, when I get my comic out there on my own crowdfunder, that it'll. I think people will like it, but it's always nerve-wracking. Like, oh, you put in all this effort, and then you're like, oh, no one gave a shit. Everyone thinks your shit sucks. I'm like, oh. But I appreciate that. I'm just doing my thing here, and lucky to kind of been made some fun connections to a lot of really cool people, and it keeps me inspired. It keeps me motivated and going. So we all kind of feed off each other, right? We're all like a bunch of parasites. Let's see. I think I've penciled about enough of these. I'm going to lose the light box here and get down to the rough. Oh, I've got some more finishing to do on it, but thanks, Egg. I mean, that means a lot. It really, really, really does. I'm just a nobody, but I like to draw, so let's see. Yeah, these are old characters. Back when before I just decided to make my He-Man comic, I was just going to make my own characters that it'd be like a He-Man-like story. And so this is what I'd come up with. This was the He-Man guy. His name was Adon Cade. This is his girl, Shia Eve. This was the princess. And then this is the bad guys. This is basically like Skeletor, Trapjaw, and Beastman, but just different kind of versions of things. And this center guy was like a kind of like a transformer kind of a creature. And I come up with all kinds of stories for these guys, but then I was just like, but I want to tell the fucking He-Man story. So I just decided to make that, and then here I am years later with 6 volumes of that shit done. And I kind of blew my metaphorical load with those books. Like, I don't really have any interest in doing anything with these guys anymore because I don't have anything to say with these characters because I did the He-Man books, and that's where I said everything I had to say. Thanks, Cro-Magnon. Thanks for stopping in, my dude. I appreciate it. You're definitely a parasite. I haven't put forth enough effort, but you were getting it done with great art and good quality conversations about the technical side. Well, I'm glad that I haven't at least completely embarrassed myself with my talk about like the technical side, because I haven't been to any schooling or anything like that. I just kind of draw and see what others do and have done and kind of pay attention to what I hear the professionals do and apply, and what am I trying to say, like practice and observe and apply technique and just try to make something interesting. And it's just nice to have found a little corner of the universe where I can say something and people are naturally responding. I don't have to beg for people that listen to me. It's like, oh, they're kind of naturally wanting to. And so it's kind of validating. And again, it keeps me motivated. Interesting to watch some cultural sausage getting made. Well, we'll see what my sausage looks like when I put out my damn book with the character who got his fucking dick cut off, and he's chasing it down. Actually, I started writing the final script for it just last week. Mr. Chuck is getting close to getting done with the inks, close-ish. So I'm like, all right, I got to get the words for this thing. I do it backwards. I script it after the art's done. Some people think I'm crazy. Like, Rob put out a book where a character had his dick cut off. They spent the entire comic chasing it down, and he literally had the girl who stole it. She takes it back and shows another girl, and they start slapping around the severed dick, and they discover that it actually still functions. And so they start fucking it, and they're like, wait, what? He did what? What? He does what now? I'm like, no, you heard me right. This is in the comic. They're like, all right, well, we're going to call the cops because this is not trash fit for human consumption. All right, Eggman, dude, thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. Dubious Animation, how's it going? Well, thank you. I've been slower than I have been at my peak, but I'm getting kind of ramping up to kind of get back into the full flow of it here. I got to get seriously working on book 2, but I'm kind of having a hard time breaking the story. So I'm kind of struggling with it, but which is why I'm drawing this random thing. This is just a redraw of an ancient thing I did forever ago with old characters, so just kind of wanted to play around with it. I need to disconnect this thing from the back of this because I don't need the light box anymore, so it's making it harder to draw. Dubious. I mean, it just depends on the person, but I don't think there's such a thing as a comic book artist who hasn't come up with at least some kind of stories in his head, even if they never pursue it. There are some comic artists that just, it's what I think Ed Piskor from the Cartoonist Kayfabe used to refer to as jobbers. Guys who just want to just draw comics. They don't want to write them. They don't want to produce them. They just want to just draw for somebody else. So they just want a job. But you know, I don't think there's any world that exists where anybody who draws comics doesn't have some stories in their head. Like there's just no way. But some of them just don't want to take it to that level, and then some of them 100% are like, yeah, I can't wait to tell my own stories. So it just kind of depends on what a person's into, you know. I my entire life, I thought the end goal for any artist would be to be able to do your own thing. Yeah, so you got to draw Batman or X-Men for the big companies, but like Image Comics, the end game goal for them, it seemed, was like, we're going to start our own company and draw our own shit and make our own money, and we've already achieved all the big stuff with the big company. But then a bunch of them are like, ugh, this creating our own shit's hard. I just want to go, let's go back to DC and, you know, draw Batman. Which, you know, if it's like a bucket list kind of item thing, I can see that. An artist like, yeah, I created my own shit. I was talking recently about how Michael Turner, he didn't go through Marvel or DC, but he did work for, you know, Silvestri, and then he eventually got to make his own stuff, and he had a very successful character and like little comic studio. But then he went back to go draw Batman and Superman. I'm like, why do you want to do that? You've got your own character. So I wonder if it was a financial situation or just pure desire. Like, I want to draw Batman once in my life. And somebody else suggested maybe he knew that he had cancer, and he's like, maybe I better go do it while I can. I was like, oh, that hurts to think of it that way. But for me, Endgame, like my own shit. It's not to say that I'd ever, like, if Marvel came a calling, would I turn him down? No, I'm not stupid. But, and that'll never happen. That's okay though.
Breaking news, scientists discovered the #1 drug for longevity, and it isn't a drug at all. Introducing the miracle drug.
Owen Esparza. It's on my thumb. It's a Band-Aid. Wrapped in electrical tape to hold it on my damn finger, because I was throwing some garbage away at work and some fucking asshole put some sharp, stabby fucking needle-like things that poked me in 3 different places on my thumb, and I literally yelped like a little bitch because it hurt so bad. So I put a Band-Aid on, but because I'm always using my hand grabbing, lifting, moving stuff, so I just take black electrical tape and just wrap it around there a couple times to hold that shit on there, and it does not come off. So it's not a drawing thing, it's a hurt myself at work, so I did like a quick little first aid thing and then went back to work after, you know, yelping like a little bitch, because that's what I did. Montoya. What is up, my dude, Montoya? You know what helps a shiny metal man look like he's shiny? Little bits of glint. Just instantly gives him a sparkle. The fucking commercials. Jesus. Sparkle, like vampires, right? He's a shiny metal vampire. Is that a thing? Could that be a thing? Here's a moneymaker. I don't know how it's going to work. Robot vampires. Go write a script. We'll make a movie. Wetworks? Well, see, they had robots and vampires, but they didn't have robotic vampires. Now, I don't know what that would be or what that would mean, but part of me feels like, I don't know. There's a movie there somehow. Did you see the trailer for the new movie? They're vampires, but they're also like robots, like the Terminator, but they suck blood out of car batteries? I don't know. It's really weird. Like, they're not very scary. You just have to go get a new battery for your car. It's just odd. Yeah, I mean, you're not missing anything not reading Wetworks, because it fucking sucked in terms of story. We were honestly only there for Potassio's badass art. At least I was. I wanted the story to be good, but then I started reading it. In issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, like, this shit is boring. What happened? Like, oh yeah, right, Image Comics. Remember when they had Claremont writing for them? Yeah, that's when shit was interesting. Yeah, I'm listening to the soundtrack to the Hunt for Red October, and that was the part where, you know, Ramis is like, you know, new course, blah 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 blah, and then one guy stands up and just starts singing it, and then they're like, "What about the singing?" And he's like, "Let them sing." I'm not over here like secretly like a communist. I am a capitalist. I am a capitalist pig. Oh, I love this bit. The music. It's when the bad guy Russian sub gets the information. They have to go chase down October, so they have to make a course change. He's like, these hours are 7 bloody hours old. But this music when the sub changes course and the orchestral. Yeah, love that shit. We're going to kill Ramirez. Yeah, Skarsgård. Yeah. There's a time when what's it, John McTiernan, right? He made that movie, October.
Wherever you're headed, discount.
He made some badass stuff.
That's why we created Triple.
No, Montoya, this is I wanted to draw, but I didn't have anything kind of ready to go. Like, and I'm kind of stuck on some of my comic pages. I'm having to kind of think about them, and so I don't have any comic pages ready to go, which is what I should be working on. So this I just light boxed this from this. This is how I used to date my things. Where it says 12013, that's me writing my name Rob with numbers. And then I'd put the date. So it was 9/27 of 2008. And so I thought it was a really clever way to sign my art with numbers. But then I heard the thing that McFarlane said. He's like, "Bud, sign your fucking art so people can read it, so they can seek you out," you know? And I was like, oh, he's right. If somebody sees some art and there's a signature and you can't translate it, you can't figure it out, you might have only caught somebody's attention for a fraction of a second. And if they can't figure it out, they move on, they're gone, they're done, you lost them. So you need to have a signature where people can read your name. And he's like, I signed my name big, Todd McFarlane. Everyone can go see it. So I'm like, as much as I liked signing my art with like this number, I stopped doing it. But anyway, this is from 2008, like old characters. And so I kind of wanted to light box it and just kind of redraw it and tighten it up and try to make it a little bit better. I don't hate this, but my inking is just fucking awful on this. It's so heavy-handed and just awful. So anyway, I'm just kind of doing a new version. A Todd impression. It's honestly me just doing Liefeld doing McFarlane. Wonky. I draw them wonky. But yeah, these were my like He-Man characters before I just decided to do the He-Man books. I was like, I can't do a He-Man book, so I'll just make up my own characters that are sort of like them. And I come up with all these characters and designs and these stories that I still think would be fun to do, but I ultimately just decided to make the fan comic. And so these characters that I created to get to tell a kind of a Masters of the Universe type story, fantasy and science fiction rolled together in one, I just kind of like, oh, well, guess there's nothing to do with them now. I don't really have anything to say about them anymore. So... He's shirtless. I've got to put nipples on him. Who am I, Rob Liefeld? Who never puts nipples on anybody? What's an X-Force, bud? What's an X-Force? What's the other one? Bravura. What's a bravura? Anybody remember them? I think Liefeld was telling that story. What's a bravura? Mitch, man, how are you doing? I I keep periodically checking in on your crowdfund to see how it's doing, but I haven't checked it in a minute. Looked like it was going pretty good. Are you feeling pretty comfortable about it? I mean, it's never going to be done until it's done, but I feel like you've had a pretty successful start. Got to try and temper expectations from here. I know that it seems to be like the people that are going to do it are always there on day one, so there's always a big jump, but then it could come to a crawl suddenly, if that's what you're meaning. But I don't know. It seems like a good start. I get you. Yeah, you get someone added in there, and you're like, yeah, but then a couple hours go by and nothing, and so yeah. I imagine that I will be the exact same way when my turn comes. Nerve-wracking. Trying to dial. I mean, yeah. How could you not but feel that way? Yeah, I agree, man. I hear you. That was a fun live stream. Yesterday? You had all the other people kind of jumping in, and that was fun. I listened to big chunks of it because I did catch it earlier, and then I said I had to go do my own live stream, which I did. It was only about an hour, and then I kind of spent the rest of the night just kind of sitting there with my phone on, kind of sitting on my shoulder as I kind of sat back and played some video games, just kind of listened in. You know what, Mitch? I was going to hit you up and ask. I was thinking, we did a live stream, but the live streams don't kind of get the views like an actual like a video. And what I've done before is I've done kind of like a live stream, but where it's recording it, but we keep it set private, and then I could take it and then actually fold it into and make it an actual video to put on my channel as like a regular video, not a live stream that people miss if they don't come finding it. So I was thinking, if you're interested sometime, maybe we could, I don't know, we could keep it kind of brief, 30 minutes or something like that, and do like a live stream, but kind of like a face-to-face thing. And we could talk about your thing, and I'll just make it an actual like video to put up on my channel. Does that make sense? Does that sound like an idea? Yeah, okay. Yeah, if that makes sense, because I've done it a couple of times. Like I said, I can't remember. I'm sure it's got to be easy. I don't remember how to do it, but you can live stream but keep it private, so it's not out there and people aren't watching it. And then I can take it and just dial it down, like save it and edit it together or whatever, and then just put it out as interview with, rather than join the live stream, because the streams don't get kind of the look. So you shit at making ads. Like, I know, I keep thinking like, I don't know how to do it either. It's like, all I want to do is just make comics, but then when you're trying to sell this shit, you got to like put on this whole other hat of, you know, salesman. It's all part of the adventure, right? Yeah, I used to get all sort of casuals on the stream. Now I'm lucky if I end one with 100 views. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I've even felt like, just generically speaking, like the views on videos are not even as high as they used to be. And I've heard some people say that this time of year, things tend to get slow. And I don't know if that's exactly true, but I don't know. Probably all bots before. Oh, you agree? Yeah, it's weird. It's like we've talked about it. Like there's no, like, I can't make heads or tail of what makes a thing pop. Like I did, for some reason I had it in my head. I did a Star Wars comic. I did a Darth Vader one just the other day. And I'm like, this is something people will turn in for. People like Star Wars. People see Darth Vader. This will get some views. Because I was really trying to like hit kind of a goal before the end of the month with ad revenue. I'm trying to always hit this goal at the end of the month. And fucking no one showed up for the Star Wars video. Like, nobody. Like 300 views. I'm like, if Star Wars doesn't pull somebody's attention, then I don't get it. I've thought that too, Mitch. If YouTube's fucking around. There was that conversation that we were having where YouTube, they changed their algorithm. I can't remember what it was. YouTube did something that kind of affected everybody. But yeah, I've wondered the same thing. If like they're making it harder for everybody. And that chaps my ass. Whatever that exactly means. Maybe you're not paying for the right kind of premium. Stupid YouTube. I still get pissed off when I think about, I have that one video of mine that is the Frank Cho art book, and it freaking blew up. But because it had Frank Cho drawings in it, they limited the ad revenue to people that only paid for YouTube Premium. I'm like, that freaking thing got 130,000 views, and I made like $14 off it. Oh, it pisses me off to this day. Like I had one that finally popped. Nope, there's titties in it. No one can see this. Yeah, it does suck. Fuckers. But I'm like, it's possible. It can happen. It did net me, it's crazy to look at it, it did net me 600 plus subscribers just from that one video alone. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. Over the course of, it's been like a year now. Yeah, and that's the thing. It leads to more views. It kind of contributes to that. So, you know, I'll take it. It's certainly better than nothing. And Frank Cho himself even commented on it. He even popped in and said, hey, thanks, man. I'm like, oh, shit, hey. Go share it on your socials, Frank. Go tell people. Go spread the word. Help a little guy out. Fucker. Yeah, see, Montoya, that's the thing. Like, I started out doing this just on a whim, right? Like, why not? Let's just do this thing. I'm not worried about. I'm just doing it for fun. But then you start getting some traction, and you're like, oh, well, maybe this can actually maybe be a thing. So then you start worrying about shit, and I don't know. Like, it's all about the art and the fun, but also, you know what helps? Money. That helps a lot. And like, there's an opportunity here, damn it. People need to start watching my shit. It is like a second job. Yeah, all you can do is try to, that first year, try to crank out videos on the regular. Yeah, it's, yeah, you're exactly right. You know as much as anyone for sure. Mitch, I saw that Peter Palmiotti is going to ink that thing for you. I don't remember if we had a conversation about it, because I feel like I had asked you recently if you'd ever penciled anything for anybody else to ink. And then suddenly there's this thing. I'm like, oh, well, that's going to be interesting to see. I'm really kind of curious to see how that turns out. That looks like it might be really awesome.
Pay more and pay less. Basic. That's what I'm bringing back on bigger drink cups.
Peter asked if you could ink something. You forgot to do anything for weeks because I never pencil. Yeah, I know you go from very rough pencils to straight to inks, and then you make it work. I like it a lot, but it'll be interesting to see your work. I would imagine, because you probably never had your stuff anybody else really ink your stuff before. It's kind of like when Chuck started inking me. I'm like, oh, this is going to be, oh, God, what is this going to be? What is this going to look like? Am I going to regret this? You've been looking forward to seeing what that looks like. I want to see someone else's finishes. Yeah. And Chuck, he kind of refers to it, and I've actually thought, like, this would make, like, a good, like, mini documentary. He refers to it as the third artist. He says, when I pencil a thing, that's all me, and Chuck's art, his inks are him, but when we combine together, it's neither just me nor just him, it's us. And he's like, I call that the third artist. It's like the melding of the two. It's both of you together. And sometimes you find a magical combination, like for me, the Silvestri Dan Green combination. And I was like, I like that. The third artist. That sounds like a documentary title. But yeah, Chuck's stuff definitely, he adds something that I'd never be able to do. You don't have patience to do finished pencils. I used to think I never would either, until I got hooked up with Chuck, and I'm like, well, now I have to. And so it's kind of forced me to try some different things, and now that's the only way that I pencil at all. I kind of like it. I was just going to pull up. Chuck sent me some digital inks he was working on today. Let's see. Like that right there. That's the girl that cut the proverbial dick off the guy. And I put kind of a lot of time into that drawing. I was trying to make it look as like 90s bullshit, as hot as I could. And I feel like he was nailing it. I feel like he was really getting it. I kind of like the way that's looking. Let's see. Then that one there. Let's see. Yeah, it's he's even sent me a text. Chuck was like, I sent a message to Walter Simonson, and he responded to me. How did he put it? He said, yeah, he's like, I got a reply from Walter Simonson. It's like having the Pope answer a question. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Fucking commercials. Oh yeah. Let's see. Yeah, he's doing all kinds of crazy things with like zip tones and stuff like that. It's anyway, now I'm just sitting here like jerking off, staring at my own stuff. But yeah, the third artist. Oh yeah, I kind of was enjoying the way this panel was coming out. You know what, Mitch? I mean, I'm just gonna kiss your ass a little bit more. Your storytelling and your layouts are like top notch. Like if like this is your first real comic effort, right? But having seen, I would imagine you've seen the same kind of thing where you've seen a lot of artists who don't really understand storytelling or layout, and you've got it. Like, you've got that natural understanding that just like there was never a instant in either any of those 4 books that you let me read where I was like, wait, what's happening? It's like I got it at every step of the way. And for like a first effort, it shows like a serious understanding, so yeah, that's you're like, should you be the inker on your book? No, you should absolutely be the penciler. Jaro, what's up? You always like the third artist effect of Todd on Liefeld. I agree. That looked really cool. I used to really, really, really dig the Jim Lee Scott Williams, but something's not the same anymore. I know that Scott Williams doesn't ink with like a Hunt 102 or I don't think even a brush anymore. From what I understand, he's like technical pens and stuff. But for a while, their synergy on Uncanny X-Men was magical. Yeah, Jim plus Scott and Wills. Yeah, they like defined an art style for an entire generation. And I wonder if they had the slightest clue of what they were developing at the time. And that one book that they all worked on together, where I think it was Jim Lee did the layout, and then Whilst did like the rendering, and then they handed off to Scott to draw that issue of X-Men that they had to get out in like 2 weeks. That was a really interesting combination of all their efforts together. Oh, and Mitch, I tagged you on that thing that looks like they're going to make a Richard Bennett artist edition. You saw that, right? You did catch on to that. And you know what? I mean, I'm not trying to like, for me, I had a little personal hand in making it happen. And I wish that, or I'm hoping that there's a microscopic bit of acknowledgments. So here's what happened with the Richard Bennett book. They announced the Aaron Weisenfeld. They're doing the Aaron Weisenfeld one, and they got the guy who runs that page, that David Kopecki. And I kind of, in that thread, I said, have you guys thought about approaching Richard Bennett and doing one for him? And that David Kopecki guy says, Richard Bennett parted with all his original art several years ago. He dumped it at heritage auctions. So he doesn't have any more of his original art. And I was like, oh, well, that sucks. So then I went and talked to Chuck, and I kind of, because I know that Chuck has talked to Richard. They kind of know each other. And so I kind of screenshotted that, and I sent it to Chuck. I'm like, yeah, I kind of tried to tell him to do a Richard Bennett one, because Chuck said, you should tell him to do a Richard Bennett one. So I'm like, all right, let me see if I can. So I just mentioned it. So I sent that information back to Chuck, and he's like, that's bullshit. He's like, I know Richard Bennett has all his art. He's like, I'm going to go ask him. So Chuck runs over, and I'm not privy to the conversation that was had, but Chuck gets back to me later. He's like, man, Richard Bennett's got everything, just about. And he's gung-ho. He wants to do it. So I'm like, oh, shit. So I went back and told the other guy, and then eventually Chuck and the David Kopecki guy got to talking, and then they got connected with Richard Bennett, and they put things in motion, and now it's going to happen. Yeah, okay, so I'm just repeating the story. So again, I'm not trying to like, I probably sound like a whiny little bitch, but I'm like, I kind of put it out there. I made a small connection. The biggest connection is Chuck hitting up Richard and, you know, being able to get his attention. And so, but I'm like, you tell that story a couple times too, right? But I'm like, I don't want anything except someone to be like, you know, Rob made this mention and pass the information along, you know. I mean, I just, you know, Chuck made the biggest kind of contribution with his, like, because Chuck was like, fuck that bullshit. I know he's got it. I'm going to go ask him. And then he comes back and Chuck's like, dude, man, he's totally wants to do that. And he's got all his shit. He says he's got every page from that Gen 13 Wired. I'm like, oh my God, I would love to see that. So I'm like, I hope they like at least somewhere say, and thanks to Rob Norton, but they'll never say a thing. And I feel like I'd be a douchebag if I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm the one who, you know, I don't want to sound like a little bitch, but yeah, acknowledge me. I mean, yeah, right? That's all and then even Chuck, I was like, you know, Chuck, this thing's going to happen. It looks like, I mean, you know, you never know if it's going to happen until you're actually physically holding it, right? Like, it's all kind of theoretical until you're actually physically holding it. But I'm like, dude, if this goes through, like, you made this happen at least to start. Like, it doesn't happen without you, Chuck. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying not to think about it. He's like, I'm hoping it would, you know, he said something effective like, hope it nets me at least a comp copy. I'm like, you know, that would be nice. I don't know. If they don't do that, I might secretly buy him a copy or something like that. But because I'm all about getting an Aaron Weisenfeld artist edition. But I'm sorry. there's way more that I want to look at up close with Mr. Richard Bennett's hyper detailed insanity. Mitch, I'm getting that book and I'll know, right? Oh, they were going to do a Wills Protasio one, and they said they had his cooperation, but then they abandoned it because they said now that we don't have Protasio's cooperation, I'm like, oh, I wonder what happened. Oh well, it's none of my business. But I'm also one of those guys. I'm like, if they do a Wills Protasio like art one, I don't want his Wildstorm work. I want his X Factor work and his Punisher work. That's the shit that to me was the magic stuff. Nothing he did at Image like blew me away. God damn it! Now you want a Wills book? They were trying. They were really trying to do it, and for whatever reason, it just fell through. I don't know if Wills just said, "Never mind, fuck you. I don't care." I don't know. I don't know what happened. And then I keep sitting here, and we're all saying, "Why in the hell of the universe is there no Mark Silvestri one of these?" Like, this is crime against humanity. I guess it depends on if you like his art, which I obviously very, very much do. Watch it all be Heroes Reborn Iron Man. Barf. I would actively go out of my way to not buy that shit. Fuck that. Oh, man. I mean, technically, of course, the art looks good. But I'm so unbelievably uninterested in that story because it's like the worst story ever. I'm just, no, absolutely not. That's really funny, Mitch. Heroes Reborn Iron Man. Fuck. There's some pages of Iron Man fighting Hulk in that like second issue that are good. But yeah. They did a Scott Clark one, I think. One of those like fan-made Scott Clark books, like Stormwatch stuff. I'm like, I don't need that one. Scott Clark and Brett Booth. I like Brett Booth now, but I kind of was not a big fan of his stuff. I mean, he's obviously very talented. All these guys are talented. Like, there's no denying that. But, yeah, you're okay with missing those two. Yeah, me too. Like, if they made their way to my hand for cheap, I wouldn't be upset at all. But, nah, I don't. Yeah, that's fine. So I want a Silvestri one. I would definitely take a Travis Charest one. Hell, a Michael Turner Witchblade or Fathom. I would be into that, personally. To see D-Tron's inks and Joseph Weems' inks up close on their stuff. I would not be okay. Oh, Mitch, can you imagine if I just never bothered to tell you about it, and then they made it, and I sit here and I'm like, look what I got, and you'd be like, why the fuck did you not tell me about this? I'm like, I didn't know. Yeah, Bennett is the detail guy. He did Brass, and then there was an issue of Gen 13 Wired. God, you want to see a Richard Bennett book? Hold on. I got it right here. I swear. Shit. I've been passing it around, trying to decide if I want to talk about it. And now I don't know. son of a bitch. Where is it? This is all Darth Vader. Oh, this is driving me nuts. I had it right here. I know this is great live streaming, me sitting in the background bitching and moaning that I can't find something. Ugh. It's right exactly where I thought it was, and I just... So this is one of the earliest books I picked up that I didn't know what it was. And I think I had a few bucks and I wanted to get a comic and there was nothing that I was looking for. And so this looked kind of cool. And I didn't pay attention to the artist back in the day, ever. I just got it. And then when I would see it in passing, I'm like, that's a Neil Adams. It's not. This is Richard Bennett. Pencils and inks are Richard Bennett. Layouts are Neil Adams, but pencils and inks by Richard Bennett. It doesn't look anything like him. I don't know. I guess I can kind of see it. It's obviously really good, but I just thought this was Neil Adams forever. Yeah, every continuity book is kind of sort of like, because it felt like everyone was kind of trying to draw like him, and he did layouts for maybe all of them or most of them. So, right. But if that's what he wanted, like, did he want all his books to look like him? Because if they all kind of look like him, it kind of gets old. I guess unless you're a huge Neil Adams fan, which I have to say I'm not, only as much as like I can obviously respect the artistic ability, like there's no denying it, but I didn't ever like see his stuff when I was younger and I kind of missed it forever, so I don't have any kind of like attachment to it. He did layouts, finishes, touch-ups. He encouraged artists to trace directly off his previous work. Really? That's really weird. That's odd. I mean, if he's trying to make his company and do a thing, and there's a rhyme and a reason. Yeah, so you get multiple books that look like Neil Adams. All right. I can't say I ever really liked the coloring in these either, and I don't know what it is. It's not bad, but I don't know. Anyway, I dug this up, and I was totally going to put it on my channel, but I'm like, I don't have anything to say about it. Plus, I did a whole box of continuity comics that I actually need to see if I can find anybody that like wants them. I've got like 50 books and I don't want a single one of them. I'll give them to somebody if they want to pay for shipping. I just need to find somebody who freaking wants them. Yeah, that's so Adams. Like it is. I need to take this Band-Aid off my thumb. I can barely flip through these books. The Hybrids. I mean, I'm sorry. When did this come out? This is in the 90s. I know that. Let me see. 91. Look, I'm sorry. I mean, this is all taste, but just looking at this, absolutely not. No way. All right, you got like a stringy looking rabid dog thing and like a chick bug creature and like a little twink and then robot with girl head. The Hybrids are looking for a place to crash. Meanwhile, they'll be hanging with the Revengers. Yeah, Sam or anything by Mark Beecham. He knows who his audience is and what they want to see. I think I have like one issue of that, but I'm not sure if he drew it. I need to dig that up. But robot vampires, that's Sprite? We were having that conversation. But I'm sorry. Like, is it a case of like an artist like Neil Adams had a major moment, but then he goes off and tries to do other stuff and it just feels out of touch with the modern sensibilities? Is that a thing? It feels like an old-timey guy trying to do edgy new 90s shit and it doesn't work. Like that. I always thought this was stupid. Like, you can enjoy the art for sure. It's a screamy face and he's got hands and Crazy Man is coming, but there's nothing, and I mean nothing about that that makes me go, I need that book right there. Yeah, that was very much continuity. I mean, I missed the train on that completely. So I'm just learning about it years later, but I'm like, I don't get it. This stuff is like old news. Anyway. Great art, cringy story every time. That sounds like a great tag to put on a book. I'd say, like, as a joke, you should put that on your book, but it's not true. It's not cringy story, but it just sounds hilarious. It's like it's too funny to not use somewhere. Great art, cringy story every time. I'm serious, Mitch. You got to use that somewhere. You were just thinking that, right? It just works. Maybe have like an ad in the back for issue 2. And then you can put in parentheses after the fact, like, actually, we think the story's awesome, but yeah, keep that one, Mitch. That one works. Great art, cringy story. I don't know why that's making me laugh so much. Oh my God, if I saw a book on the shelf that said that, I'm like, oh, I gotta see this. If they have the fucking balls to tell me their shit sucks, it probably is actually awesome. Oh, I think I'm tired. Oh. Oh shit, I think I'm gonna wind it down. I should probably go see if my boys are dead or not. Oh, God, I even hit the 2-hour mark. I didn't think I would. I gotta fix this hand. I completely fucked it up. The whole forearm hand thing. Erase and fix. Oh, all right, but I am gonna shut it down, fellas. Thanks for the conversations. Mitch, once again, thank you for the laughs. I need that shit. Oh, man. So great. Mr. Montoya, Dubious Animation, whoever else. Delafonte, hey, what's up? Thanks, Mitch. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time.